Hello and welcome to the 33rd edition of Local Lowdown podcast. My name is Zach Bischoff, and I, as always, am joined by.
Danny Shanwitzer.
Okay, and you cannot hold it together while I do that intro. Okay. Anyway, we are going to be talking about the Pitt basketball here to start. So Dan, just give me your thoughts and excuse me on Pitt basketball as we begin to enter crunch time here in the college basketball season.
Yeah, Zach. Dude, Pitt basketball has a great opportunity today against a very good, I believe, Quadrant 1 Virginia Tech team. And Zach, I am just very excited that we're having this conversation. That Pitt, could maybe um, make it into the big dance. If they handle these last spot games well, and make a little bit of run in the ACC tournament. Because we were inconsistent, and then we won 5 straight games. We beat Virginia, we beat Duke. Those are all tremendous basketball teams in the ACC. We were able to battle against teams like Miami. We it was right down to the wire with them, and we came all the way back in the second half. So the Panthers, and then Blake Hinson just erupted for 41 points in the Louisville game.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we're even having this conversation after kind of an inconsistent start to the season is a sign of growth for Pitt. Now, Zach, I was a little bit disheartened by the 33-point loss to Wake Forest on Tuesday night because I, was super excited to turn on the game. It's a late start, but I, was staying up for it because I wanted Pitt to keep the win streak going. And then we lost by 33 to a Wake Forest team that is not 33 points better than Pitt, but they were on Tuesday. I think the biggest thing against Virginia Tech is going to have to be balanced scoring, because Blake Hinson is requiring so much attention from the defense. So he's going to really have to take advantage of his looks. But in Wake Forest, they did a good job of shutting Hinson down, and then Bub Carrington and Ishmael Leggett really didn't pick up the slack for the first time in about 6 games because they had previously played super well. And we also need, we need even more rebounding than we've had. Federico, tremendous potential, but he's got to start rebounding and being physical. I think that's going to be the key against Virginia Tech and going forward is balanced scoring and rebounding, Zach.
Mm-hmm. And Dave, I'm going to meet you in the interim here. One thing in the Louisville game that stuck out to me was really the how everything was falling for Hinson there. He had 41 points, I believe, in that game. So yeah, that was a good effort by Hinson there. Davey, 2-part question for you. One, do you think that Wake Forest loss is going to affect their chance of getting into the tournament? And second, do you think there's any scenario where Pitt can be a lock to be in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, Zach. I think that game against Wake Forest was much more important for Wake Forest than it was for Pitt because we've shown we beat Duke on the road and we beat Virginia on the road. Mm-hmm. That's resume building.
Yeah, those are both quad 1, I believe. Am I correct?
Yes, and Wake Forest, they prior to Pitt, they really because they're on the bubble, but they did not. They played well against other competition, but they did not. They haven't beat Duke or Virginia this year, I believe. So it was definitely they had to win against Pitt to have any case. um, to make the tournament. Um, but obviously they took care of business, and credit to them. I don't think, Zach, and I'll be curious to see if you have any differing thoughts. But I mean, I don't really see a scenario where Pitt is a lock for the NCAA tournament because we've shown that we can win 5 out of 6 against some really talented ACC opponents. But we've also shown that on a Tuesday night in February we can lose by 33 in an important game against Wake Forest. So I think we definitely have to go for at least. I mean, I think 4-1 is where we have to be in these last 5 games. I think we have to make a little bit of a run in the ACC tournament to put ourselves in the best position.
Yeah, I think that we have to be well, we have to try and beat Clemson. Although I'd be okay with a loss. We're 0-2 against them this year, but I think we have to win at least 3 out of the last 5 to get in. You're muted, by the way. Um, but I think if we win, a couple games, I think that we should get in. I don't think we're a lock to get in, according to Joe Lenardi. We are currently out of the bubble conversation. However, I don't put much stock into what Joe Lenardi said. Yeah, I think that if we win a couple games here, then we can and make a run in the tournament. Then we will get in. I don't think, like Danny said, I don't think we will be a lock to get in, but I think that we have a decent chance to get in if we do not lose these last couple.
Yeah, I agree, Zach. And what comes to mind, because I know some people have said we lost by 33 to Wake Forest. How are they going to let us in? Literally, like I think it was last year in the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament, we lost to Duke by 30. And credit to them because they had a really good game there. But I think it matters more our end of the season record, our number of quad one wins, and where we get. I don't think every team deserves to be able to have a bad 40 minutes of basketball. I mean that's sometimes shots just aren't falling. But I I don't see that if we control, we can control and make a deep run in the ACC tournament, which I think we can because we've shown that we can compete with the. I mean, I believe we're top 5 still in the conference. So I mean, we've shown that we're definitely in that upper echelon, and if we can control what we can control, I think we'll be in a good spot come Selection Sunday.
Where is Pitt in the ACC standings currently?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I said that without backing it up, but ACC. So yeah, we're we're 6th behind Clemson. So that Clemson game coming up on Tuesday is going to be a huge game.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and this is crazy that we were because I mean, we won 5-6, and our month of February has been great. But I mean, if you think about it, we're only 8-7 in conference because I mean we had just a terrible game against Syracuse, and then we close loss against Clemson. So I mean, the fact that we're even here is encouraging for sure.
I think I said we were 0-2 against Clemson. I meant Syracuse. My fault. But yeah, it should be interesting to see how the last 5 or so games here go, and then I'll be curious to see what happens on Selection Sunday. Okay, now moving on to baseball talk. Now the Pirates spring training is actually the spring training games, I should say, have begun. They are playing right now. They are tied with the Minnesota Twins 2-2 in the top of the 6th inning. That game is not being televised. Danny, the opening day starter was announced as a newly extended Mitch Keller for the 2nd straight year. Danny, your thoughts on the what was it, 5-year, $33 million extension?
Yeah, I think it was 5 years, $77 million. I think. Yeah, which dude, Jack, I was just really happy to see that. We're definitely making Mitch Keller, our number one ace overall, I think. And it was funny. We were talking before the show, and I brought up the point that wouldn't it be super funny if we just because we announced Mitch Keller as the opening day starter, and then we extended him. So it would be so funny if we, um, you know, announced the contract, but then also announced Rowansi Contreras or somebody like that as the opening day starter, which I would
Yeah,
not put Pirates past past doing that. But I was happy to see Mitch Keller be extended because I mean he had a really good year last year, and I mean you think about it, he really was kind of up and down, especially he was a highly sought after prospect, in the major league system, one of the best in the major league rankings of prospects, and then he really struggled when he first got up here. But I mean, he's worked at it, and he is becoming a very good pitcher. I just saw a stat that he led the National League, and I think it might be the entire MLB with strikeouts looking. So he's got some good stuff for sure. Now the the challenge for the Pirates, I think, is going to be um, pitching depth because we obviously, I mean, we have guys like Mitch Keller and David Bednar is a good closer in the bullpen, and Rowansi Contreras, from what I've been hearing, has had a really good spring, and we still got Quinn Priester, so maybe he can keep developing. We brought him up again last year, and he was a little bit up and down, but I mean, where where is our four and fifth um, pitcher? We really still don't have that, and I think that a philosophy that's been tossed around is maybe we experiment with having kind of an opener, and then we progress to the bullpen, but that puts so much stress, excuse me, on the bullpen. I feel like Jack, and we can't ask. Our bullpen's new and improved with getting Aroldis Chapman and Bailey Falter, which he might start actually, but I feel like we can't, and I just feel like we can't ask our bullpen to eat up so many innings that a starter should be able to. Now I know we are dealing with some injury. JT Brubaker's unfortunately going to be out this season because of Tommy John surgery, and which he's obviously a good pitcher for us. But what do you think about the Pirates pitching situation, Zach? Because I'm kind of fascinated by it.
I think the Pirates pitching. I think the bullpen could be really good this year. It'd be even better if we signed Trevor Bauer. I think that would be a solid 1-2 punch there with Chapman. Yeah, I do like the acquisition of. Meet you a second. I do like the acquisition of Trevor Bauer, or excuse me, Aroldis Chapman here in the last couple of weeks. I do think if we would sign Trevor Bauer, which I don't think we're going to, I think that bullpen could be really good. But I'm really optimistic to see what the Pirates do this year. But I think the loss of catcher Andy Rodriguez is going to be. Are you okay? Yes, he is okay. Um, I think the loss of Andy Rodriguez is going to be felt. He was a good catcher, good hitter, hit for decent power. So, but I think, yeah, I think we'll do pretty good this year. I, I'm going to project. Actually, we're not doing. We're not going to do that yet. Daniel, my question to you is: will we see Paul Skeens this year?
Zach, I would definitely like for us to see Paul Skeens this year because he's a guy that um, you know will make the major league club better. I mean, you cannot ignore the success that he had against with LSU. You know, he was unbelievable. believable. And what I keep saying to everybody that I keep talking about, the Paul Skeens situation with, is he's a great pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. He's only going to be able to throw 103 miles an hour time after time for so many years. You know, we have we've seen scenarios where a guy is throwing so hard and then he just can't sustain it really. So we have to be careful about how we develop Paul Skeens, but we also need to get him up to the major leagues because I think he can help the Pirates win games. And I think that he's a guy that we can start building a contending team year after year uh, with him at the helm. I really think
Mm-hmm.
that ability to kind of carry a franchise on his back, and we got to give him the opportunity with guys like Mitch Keller around him to learn what it takes to be a pitcher in the MLB and to be a great one at that because I think he can be.
Yeah, Danny, my opinion on that is I think come September call-ups when rosters expand, I do think he will be a part of that. I do think we will see him pitch on a major league mound come close to the season's end. I really hope that that does actually happen. I think that he can be a solid guy. And what's the harm in doing that? You know, we did it with who do we did with last year? We did it a couple years ago with Quinn Priester during the COVID year. You're muted, by the way. Um, I'm meeting you in between because you're a dog. We did it a couple years ago with Quinn Priester during COVID. In my opinion, like I said, what's the harm in doing like giving him a start or giving him a couple of starts up here? I think that would be good for his development. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Zach, I completely agree, and this is honestly how optimistic I am about with Paul Skeens. I don't think it's crazy, and I think it is kind of crazy because nobody does this now. But I would not be opposed to him being on the opening day roster because I think he's
Neither would
that.
I, but I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't. I don't. I I understand we have to be careful and we got to kind of allow him to kind of grow into himself as a major league pitcher. But I would literally not be opposed to seeing him on the opening day roster because I think he can help the Pirates.
Yeah.
And I think at bare minimum we have to give him major league experience come September.
Yeah. Danny, your thoughts on O'Neal Cruz and with his return this season? What kind of impact do you think that'll have on this year's team?
I think that's going to have a major impact. I think O'Neal Cruz, when he's healthy and when he is just able to have a full major league season, with him being the everyday shortstop, I think that's going to do wonders for us. I think he is a tremendous athlete, and I cannot wait for him to just even watching him take infield at Bradenton, the videos that I've seen, that gives me hope for the future. Him and
Mm-hmm.
Skeens, and we Andy Rodriguez too, which that injury obviously stinks. Henry Davis, can he please? I would love, love, love for him to get major league catching experience because I think he can. He's the number one pick for a reason. All of that gives me hope for the future, Zach. It really does.
And we are going to do a more in-depth Pirates preview show as we draw closer to opening day. I believe that is in, what is that, late March this year?
Yeah, it's early.
Baseball starts earlier and earlier each year, it seems.
Yeah.
But that is all for now. Danny, your final thoughts on any and all things discussed here on the 33rd edition of the Local Lowdown podcast.
No, Zach, dude, I am excited. Pitt basketball home stretch and the Pirates, just starting.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really exciting to watch both of these teams progress in the weeks to come, man. So
yeah, and we're also going to do a more in-depth March Madness show as that draws closer to that, regardless if Pitt's in it or not. I love watching that every year. Because
Yeah.
games start at noon every day and then go to like 9 o'clock at night. But that's all for now. As always, thanks to Daniel for his attendance and his hard work here this afternoon. And we will see you next time right here on the Local Lowdown podcast.